Again to you and to the viewers. Yes, indeed, it has arrived, the day of the 5th ANC National Policy Conference. We do know that this year has been marked the year of Oliver Regional Tambo by the ANC. This obviously will bring the legacy and the struggles forward in them deciding the policies going forward for the ANC. We do know it is a crucial stage, especially for the political realm that South Africa is currently in. We do know that the past Sundays, as media, we have been briefed a bit more about the policy topics going forth from the 12th of March, where the policy discussions and documents were launched to the media. But just to tell us a bit more on what to expect for the next 6 days, with me as the SG of the ANC, Mantashe. Thank you so much for joining us. We've heard a lot from you, especially coming through to the policy, and there was a bit of controversy with you saying that some youth league members are used obviously as henchmen for individuals. We do know that the next 6 days will be about policy. Are you sure that that will be the order of the day?
That will be the order of the day. We'll ensure that it is the order of the day. People must focus on the policies. The first 2 days will be dealing with the organization. The organization is the vehicle we execute our ideas through, and we'll be servicing it, repairing it, and pulling it together. Where people go to the extremes, we're responsible to pull them to the mainstream of the ANC. I appreciate that. It's not adventurism or conservatism. It is about the ANC implementing its policies, developing them further.
So we do know that the first struggle was to receive freedom as South Africa, and it has been stated that we're in the second phase now for economic freedom. Will this also be a guideline into explaining what this radical socio-economic transformation is, and obviously giving the delegates of the ANC their pathway to obviously implementing this?
As a people, because we're talking too much about radical economic transformation, they think that is a new policy. Anything called a revolution is radical by itself. So the National Democratic Revolution is itself radical. The fact that we took power when the enemy was not defeated and the prospect of military conquer was remote was itself radical. The fact that we've done what we've done over the last 23 years in changing society, I don't know if you have noticed that you don't know where Pretoria ends and where Johannesburg ends. That is the work of change. It's the work of a South Africa that is part of the world. And it is a function of radical policies. But we're lagging behind on the economic transformation. The majority of South Africans do not have control and ownership of the economy. That is what we're focusing on, and we must come out here addressing that issue. And I always define it in terms of the strategy tactics of the ANC, that it must address the three basic interrelated contradictions of race, gender, and class. If it doesn't address those things, it is not radical enough.
We do know for the past 4 days, Nehawu has been having their National Congress, and they've stated that the working class is one of the foundations of the ANC. We do know on a bigger scale, they are part of the alliance partners, COSATU and SACP. Will you be working on the unity as well in regards to the alliances, and where do they come to play in this day?
They were very strong when we were united as the ANC, even stronger when we were united as the alliance. But the unity of the alliance depends on all of us not behaving in an adolescent way. We must deal with each other with respect, persuade each other, and agree on a common purpose. And I always tell people that the National Democratic Revolution is the primary policy of the ANC and program, and it is the minimum program of the alliance. All of us are accommodated there, and the party working on socialism, but it must go through the National Democratic Revolution. Once we re-anchor ourselves on those policy positions and respect, we'll go stronger. If we can come out here with more resolve for the unity of the ANC and the unity of the alliance, will be a better movement.
Thank Thank you. And then just final question. You stated yesterday that the closed sessions will allow every delegate to voice out their concerns and for the ANC as well to obviously acknowledge their accomplishments but also find a reality in the challenges they face. Will every voice that comes out today have a say going forward?
You see, when you are in a conference, it's a contest of ideas. And you make your point, you persuade people with argument. That is logical, that is scientific. But if we can try to persuade one another by booing and threatening, we'll have a false unity. We must persuade each other with logical debate and argument.
Thank you very much. As you've heard from the SG Gweda Mantashe stating, as we have heard a lot of times from the ANC leading to the National Policy Conference, that unity is the major key, and also acknowledging race, class, and gender as well going forward. So definitely the next 6 days are going to be jam-packed with policy to hold ANC accountable for the future of South Africa.